I made a huge mistake when I was placing my special order because I started looking at this as an opportunity to create something truly rare and something that no one else would have, instead of thinking about what would truly suit me and my lifestyle. Hi guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back to my channel. For the past couple of months, I have been receiving quite a few questions about the Hermes Special Order experience. So today I thought that I would try to address as many of your questions as possible, because Hermes is a brand that has quite a bit of mystery surrounding it. But when it comes to their special order system, they are even more secretive. So today we'll be talking about what a special order is, how can you place one, if you get offered a special order bag, can you really order whatever you want, or are there certain restrictions? And I will also share my personal experience with you guys. So if you want to find out more about this almost secret society of Hermes collectors and clients, then please keep on watching. Let's start out by talking about what a special order bag is. So you might have never heard the term special order or SO, but you might have heard bags being referred to as HSS bags or Horseshoe Stamp bags. But they're essentially just the same name for the same bags. I personally call them special order bags or SO, but some people refer to them as the HSS bags because there's a little horseshoe stamp next to the Hermes logo. But the term that Hermes uses is actually a la carte. And these a la carte bags are usually offered to the top tier of Hermes clients. They are usually customers who have spent and invested a lot of time into their relationship with the brand, and they tend to have a larger collection of Hermes bags, so they are seeking more unique pieces. And Hermes gives these customers the chance twice a year to place an order for a custom bag. They can essentially play around with pretty much any bag from the Hermes portfolio. They can choose colors and leathers, and they allow these customers to put the bag of their dreams together and place an order for that. And within usually the period of 6 to 12 months, Hermes delivers these bags to their home stores that is specifically made for them. And that's what really a special order bag is. And you might be sitting at home watching this thinking, what's the point of talking about this? I'm never going to become a VIC. Hermes will never offer me one of these bags because I'm just not someone who prioritizes spending a lot of time and money on building a relationship with Hermes. But in case you're not planning on becoming one of the VICs, which I'm sure a lot of us are not, then I have a little tip for you. Rumor has it that whenever a new store opens up by Hermes, those stores usually get allocated a couple of special order bags that they can give out to the local clientele because they want to attract the local clientele to the new stores. And SAs actually use this technique to build their own clientele for the new store. So if you know of a new store opening up in your area, you must stop by, and obviously don't start by asking about a special order. Maybe pick up a few pieces here and there if there's anything that really catches your attention. And even if you don't get offered a special order, your chances of getting a regular bag are already higher because these stores really don't care about an established profile as much as other stores do, because they are all about attracting new clientele and they want to build their customer base. But I heard that some stores, some new stores that open up, they usually get a couple of special order bags allocated that they can give out to clients on the spot whenever they open up. But even if they don't do it at that point, whenever the special order season comes around, they're going to have more bags to allocate among their clients than other stores of a similar size would. So if your dream is to get a special order bag, I would highly recommend that you try your luck at one of the newer stores, because your chances are a little bit higher if you don't have a very well-established profile. So let's talk about these special order seasons that I was referring to. Hermes allows their best clients to place a special order twice a year. They're really strict about these timelines. Usually there is an opportunity to do that in the spring, and then there's another one towards the end of the year around the fall or winter season. And it really depends on where you shop, because even stores within the same state have different timelines that they work with. So you really have to talk to your SA and see what your store's schedule is like. But there's usually an opportunity to place an order, as I mentioned, in the spring. So I did mine last year in April, and then there's another one towards the end of the year. Each store has their own internal policy. So some stores, if you're a great client, you can place a special order each time they have a special order allocation process. Whereas in some stores, for example in mine, because mine is not a flagship, so they have a fewer number of special orders that they can give out, they rotate bags that they have, and each season a different client has the chance to place a special order. I know of people who shop at flagships and they have been placing special orders every single season for the past years. Whereas me, I placed my last one in April and I have not been able to place another one ever since. Let's talk about what can you order. If you, let's say, want a matte alligator bag in pink, or let's say you want a white Birkin 25, can you order that? Can you choose whatever leather you want? Can you choose whatever color you want from the Hermes archive? Well, it's not quite like that. Each year, Hermes offers a certain amount of leathers and colors that you can choose from, and they are usually seasonal colors that they're pushing for the season. And in terms of leathers, there are certain restrictions based on where you shop. For example, smaller stores don't tend to have the option to place orders for alligator bags, but most stores have the option for ostrich and all the other regular leathers. And each leather has different color options. So let's say you want pink, and pink might be available in Togo. That doesn't mean pink is also going to be available in Epsom. So you always have to look at the seasonal charts that you get given when you're placing your special order. And the process of placing a special order is that you first of all choose the bag that you want. Most people usually go for a Birkin or a KYLIE or maybe the Constance, the holy trinity of Hermes bags, because they are simply harder to come by. They're quota bags, so you're limited to buying a certain amount. But really you can choose whatever bag you want from the Hermes portfolio. So if you like an HAC, the Lindy, the Bolide, you can place an order for any one of those. And then the next step is to choose the size. So you get to choose the size of the bag. Obviously nowadays more people tend to go for smaller bags because that's what's on trend, but you can really choose whatever size you want. Then you go into choosing the leather and the color, and then next stitching. You can even choose what color of thread you want them to use for the stitching of your bag. Then if your bag comes with a strap, you can choose the length of your strap. So most KYLIEs come with an 85 centimeter strap, but if you want it longer or shorter, you have the option to customize that. And then you choose your hardware. So you can either decide to go with the traditional hardwares of yellow gold or palladium, or even rose gold. But if you're placing a special order, you have the option to actually choose brushed finish for your hardware, which is truly unique because there is no other bag by Hermes that comes with brushed hardware. So if that's something that would interest you, then this is your only chance to do that whenever you're placing a special order. And if you want your bag to be recognized for a special order bag, even from the far, then I would highly recommend that you look at the brushed hardware finishes. And I think that's pretty much it, unless of course you're ordering a Birkin or a KYLIE, because when it comes to those two bags, you can actually make them multicolored. So in the past, Hermes actually used to offer the so-called rainbow Birkins, which meant that each part of the bag was a different color. Now I think you're limited to 2 different colors. So you can choose either the body of the bag to be a different color from the lining, or you can choose a color for the body of the bag when it comes to the KYLIE and the Birkin, and you can choose a different color for the accessories, including the handle. So again, if you want a piece that's more rare, easily recognizable, and something that will stand out from a crowd of other Hermes bags, then I would recommend that you consider a multicolored Birkin or KYLIE as your special order. Let's talk about how long it actually takes to get your special order bag, because there are quite a few horror stories out there of people waiting for years for their special orders to be delivered. And some of them, I have to say, are actually not wrong. Your special order can take anywhere between 6 to 12 months. That's usually the period that they give. But even I have friends who have been waiting for their special orders for 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. And as far as I know, there is no public system behind how they work on special orders. I even asked my store director and she didn't really have a good answer either. She just said that she thinks that it's based on what the factory has available and what they're working on. If they're working on Birkin 25s, they might slide in a couple of special orders of the same size or the same leather or the same color, but no one really knows the answer to that. So once you place the order, they usually say it's going to take between 6 to 8 months to maybe a year. But again, as I mentioned, I have friends who have been waiting for bags for years. And then I have to mention that if you were lucky enough to place an order for an alligator bag, you'll probably be waiting for about 3 to 4 years at this point. One thing I forgot to mention about the process of placing your special order is the fact that your special order is not guaranteed. Once you put in your request with your store manager or director or whoever is responsible for that, they usually put in your request into a system that sends it out to the factory or to the corporate office, who has to look at it and approve your request. And if it doesn't get approved, it bounces back, then you will not be able to place a special order until the next period comes around. So your special order is not guaranteed, and because of that reason, you're not actually required to pay a deposit. And since we're on the topic of deposit, let's talk about money. The good news is that it's not actually any more expensive than buying a regular bag from Hermes. You can compare your special order to a bag of the same size or a similar size, a similar leather, and you can expect to pay around that much. And another great thing about special orders is, let's say you place a special order in 2016, but your bag is not delivered until 2018. And let's imagine that there was a price increase between those 2 years. You will actually be charged the price that your bag would have cost whenever you place your order. So if you place a special order a couple of years ago and you're getting impatient, think about the fact that you're going to be saving some money, quite a bit of money actually, whenever your special order comes in, considering that Hermes has had quite a few price adjustments in the recent past. And lastly, let's talk about my experience of placing a special order. So as I mentioned, I was lucky enough to be able to place a special order back in April of 2019. And my bag actually arrived within, I think, 6 to 7 months. So it really didn't take long, even though I expected it to take about a year, year and a half, because I ordered something a little bit more unique. And I initially had a suede Birkin or Kelly in mind. That's really what I wanted to place an order for. But when I got to my appointment to place a special order, we looked at the chart with my SA, and we realized that suede was not an option for Birkins or Kellys. You could only really order them in Constance. And then I was considering maybe ordering it in croc, maybe ordering a Birkin in croc. But then unfortunately my store didn't have the option to place an order for an exotic bag unless it was ostrich. And I made a huge mistake when I was placing my special order, because I started looking at this as an opportunity to place an order for a bag that's really rare, it's unique, it's a piece that no one else would have, instead of thinking about what would really work for me and my lifestyle. And I ended up ordering something that I thought was going to be the next best thing. I thought it was unique and rare and a collector's piece, but it really wasn't something that my heart was after. So I ended up ordering a bag that's called the Kelly Graphite. And you might have seen or heard about that bag. It was, as I mentioned, released in 2018. And they are definitely beautifully made. There's a lot of craftsmanship and thought that goes into the making of these bags, because they come only in a Kelly 28. And they have this very interesting letter added to the front of the bag. But it's added in a way that you cannot tell that it's made of different pieces of leather, because there's no stitching or seam in between the pieces of leather. It's just very seamlessly put together. And I ended up going for a letter X because it was very unique. I've never seen that being done, and it's also a letter that's very important to me. And my director actually told me that she had never seen any other letters other than the letters of Hermes, because those are the ones that most stores ordered. On the Kelly Graphite bag, there are only certain things you can customize. You cannot customize the size or the strap. I went with rose gold hardware because the hardware was an option. And then you were able to choose between a couple of different colorways. So I think you had the option for a blue bag, gold, green, or black. I of course ended up going with black, which meant that the body of the bag was black, and then the letter was actually in blue, goat skin, and clemence. So I ended up ordering that bag, and at the end of the day, it was my fault. No one pushed me. Everyone was really supportive, and everyone wanted me to make the best decision possible. In my mind the entire time, I was thinking about what could be really unique, what could be a collector's piece, what's something that I will not see on anyone else. And that was really the next best thing after the suede bag. And I remember it took about 6 or 7 months for my bag to arrive. And when it came in, my store director opened it up for me. We looked at it, and I mean, it was stunning. I cannot deny the fact that it was beautiful, but I just wasn't in love with that. And I paid for it. I brought it home, and I just simply wasn't happy with it. I wasn't in love with the bag. and it was quite a bit more expensive than a regular Kelly would have been because of all the craftsmanship that goes into one of these bags, and it's just not something that really worked out for me. But I learned my lesson, and I want to make this the message of the video. Actually, people say that you should always have your first bag as a neutral, you should never turn down a bag with gold hardware, and you should always buy small bags, always go for the smallest possible. And when we follow these rules and trends, we can sometimes make really bad decisions. I would suggest that you only buy things that truly make you happy. Because when it comes to Hermes bags, first of all, they're really expensive, but they're also very hard to come by. So if you get a bag and you get a bag that you don't like, you're losing out on the option of getting another bag that you would have been so much more happy with, because you cannot use that quota for another bag that could have been offered to you. Please try to learn from my mistake and don't buy things that you're not 100% about, because you may grow to like them, but you may not, and then you're out of luck because you won't be able to get another bag from Hermes for a little while. So I'm hoping that maybe in the near future, I'll be able to place another special order, because I already know what I would do. And you guys have actually been asking me to do a video on my 2020 wish list. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and maybe I'll make that video next week, and I'll include my special order or my plans for my next special order, because I made a big mistake last year when I placed my special order. And at the end of the day, I can only blame myself, because I was the one that kept thinking about making something really unique instead of making something practical and something I would have been able to enjoy on a regular basis. And this is it, guys. This completes my video on my special order experience. I hope you found this video insightful, and if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions to me, you can find me in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.